There's no leaks, there's no spoilers. There's no insider giving anyone information on what Fallout 5 is gonna be about. There's actually not even a single shred of information about what Fallout 5 is gonna be. Now, there are some old leaks about where Fallout 5 is going to be. There are two locations. The most likely one currently seems to be Boston at this point. But honestly, the location doesn't matter too much. It's just a fun thing to talk about time to time. I personally think it's probably going to be Boston. But yet, even though we know almost nothing concretely about Fallout 5, we already know the overarching story. What's gonna be happening? What is gonna be the main plot? We know all of it about Fallout 5. And the reason for that is very simple because Fallout is no longer a game, it's a franchise, it's a universe. And when a game becomes a franchise or universe, there is technically the upside that everything gets encompassed into one thing. So we do have the remnants of the NCR, the Majori, the ending of Fallout 3. All of these things come together as one. And that's kind of cool. That does give us a lot of potential. But granted, for this potential to work out, we need to believe in Bethesda, and needless to say, probably no one watching this believes in Bethesda and making a good game. So, a lot of potential, but probably all squandered. The reality is, how we know all of this is because we have already seen this in action. We know what happens to a game, what happens to a series, what happens to a movie when it becomes a franchise, when it becomes a true universe. And Fallout is all of these things. Fallout has multiple spin offs that all are canon. 76, the Fallout TV show, even Fallout Shelter, I think, is canon at this point. So the franchising has already taken full root. No, that's the universe. But the franchise part is the bad one. Because do you know what's the last thing that got franchised? It was Star Wars. The Disneyfication of Star Wars, to be precise. And since that has happened, for the past, I think, 6 years at least, every single Star Wars project that was created has been predicted by the community, except the initial new direction the movies are gonna go with Kylo Ren and all of that jazz. That was not predicted, but everything else has been predicted, from the cast to the story to the even twists and whatnot. And when the when those shows launched, everyone predicted everything because it becomes predictable. It's all just Grogu. When your game thing becomes a franchise, becomes a universe, it becomes predictable. And Fallout now is predictable. And we have an unbelievable amount of evidence that actually points in the direction that the Fallout 5 is going to take. In fact, we have so much evidence that it would be completely impossible for this to not be the Fallout 5 story. And the Fallout 5 story, if you do not know and haven't figured this one out yet, because a lot of people are slowly figuring this out, is the Brotherhood versus the Enclave. That's going to happen. Yes. And that this is all because of the franchisation of Bethesda, and you can see it very very clearly. By the way, pick not related. I just think it's absolutely funny and shows how incompetent Bethesda is, and that's always funny. So this is just for the memes and lulz, boys. In any case, let's start Fallout 76. Bethesda has officially revealed Raven Rock, the next major expansion for Fallout 76, coming 2027. The expansion will tell a prequel story set long before the events of Fallout 3, so we know that this is not going to change or not going to be destroying the Enclave here. The reason this exists is because currently the established lore in Fallout is, and they don't want to retcon everything. They already retconned a lot of things with the TV show and people got pissed. So now they're trying to do the, One Piece style of retconning. It kind of fits, it's just an expansion on previous lore. And this is going to be it. Because as we all know, the Enclave should be completely dead pretty much. There's just remnants of them at best left in the current lore setting if we ignore the TV show. And this is gonna serve to establish that the Enclave is everywhere. That they just didn't have Raven Rock and the Oil Rig. Yes, those two places are gone, but the influence of everyone's favorite faction. By the way, yes, by the way, Enclave is a favorite faction to many people. Is gonna be the bad guys. So I don't know how Bethesda is gonna deal with the fact that everyone's rooting for the bad guy once again. Not a new situation, but here we are. And this expansion in Fallout 76 effectively is just gonna serve to say, oh, actually, the Enclave, they're everywhere. They didn't just stay in two locations, they're everywhere. And then you're gonna have a little bit of lore here and there, something that maybe can be built upon a little bit later on. The whole point of this 76 expansion is just to establish that. And if you're wondering how am I so adamant about this, because Todd Howard himself in an interview that they cannot actually find, but a lot of people discarded this information, said that he wants the Fallout universe to move forward. And this, by the way, makes sense even from a business standpoint, which is very interesting. But Todd Howard wants the universe to move forward. It's not going to be a bunch of stories about surviving the wasteland, the Institute, this group of people and whatnot. It's going to be a moving forward thing. The whole point of everything that was done in the TV show, season 1, season 2, all of it, served one purpose, and that is to move the setting forward, a guiding direction. The comeback of actual powers, establishing the Brotherhood as the good guys, which is, by the way, fucking hilarious because anyone recognize this picture? This was what they wanted the Brotherhood to be initially in the TV series, religious zealots. And if you were a part of that conversation, it's hilarious because a bunch of folk idiots are going to be like, the Brotherhood was always a bunch of religious zealots. Not like this. And they're gonna be like, but they named themselves paladins. Yes, a lot of yeah, that's a popular name. Yeah, congratulations. It's stupid. It's just stupid. But in any case, back to this. We know that Raven Rock is gone. We know that the Oil Rig is gone, but the Enclave is going to be still here. That's what this. That's what the expansion is going to establish, and that's going to also be the precursor why you see them in the Fallout TV season 3, because when you become a franchise, you just become predictable, and the obvious predictable thing is the fact that Todd Howard says Reddit inspires great ideas at Bethesda as the studio looks to change how it communicates. Effectively, Todd Howard is a Reddit lurker, which means, we're gonna just get Reddit tier ideas for the upcoming games. So, and by the way, even Reddit has figured out the stuff that I'm currently talking about here. People on Reddit have mentioned close to what I'm saying ideas at the minimum. Probably someone that has already said the same thing, honestly, that it's not really that hard if you think. And I'm unemployed, so I have a lot of time to speculate about Fallout, okay? So yeah, these ideas have been long in Reddit, and that's what Reddit typically talks about. They talk about the Fallout TV show and whatnot. And again, in the TV show, the current big thing is gonna be the Brotherhood of Steel. They have been established to be a massive organization, a brain dead organization, but massive nonetheless. They literally have like tens, if not hundreds, of Pridvins. Yes, that's a real thing. And now there's infinite power because reasons also from season 1. That's great. And the Enclave is also here, and the Enclave is going to be the villains. Obviously, the Brotherhood of Steel are going to be the good guys, because franchises, you have to have a good guy. And that's the Brotherhood of Steel. No one else really fits. And the evil guys are obviously, well, you literally can see that they're wearing kind of Nazi-inspired UN type of fucking uniforms at this point. So, you can easily tell who the bad guys are gonna be. And I mean, the fact that their armor is like kind of pitch black, obviously. And yeah, that's gonna be Fallout 5. The main overarching theme is gonna be the Brotherhood of Steel versus the Enclave. And if I had to take a guess what's gonna happen in Fallout 5, it's obviously gonna be stupid because no one expects good writing from this show at this point. And by the way, here is yes. We also already know it's pretty much confirmed. Amazon's Fallout Season 3 premise focuses on expanding wasteland conflicts, moving locations towards Colorado. And by the way, Colorado was the second location where Fallout 5 potentially was supposed to be done. Colorado and I forgot what I said previously. If I remember correctly, are the two premier locations for the next Fallout game. And tracking the Enclave. By the way, is it Enclave or Enclave? Everyone says Enclave, but it does say Enclave. Whatever. Official special plot details remain tightly under wraps while producing is underway in California. So we don't know what's happening, but again, it's just the Brotherhood of Steel pretty much versus the Enclave. Maybe it's gonna be you as the lone survivor once again dealing with the Enclave. But in any case, if I had to make a prediction, I think Fallout 5 is gonna be a lot more on rails. I mean, let's be real. The fucking role-playing choices of Fallout 4 were shit. This is these are the great choices for Fallout 3, by the way, which is again abysmal. So I think they're gonna move on rails. I think Fallout 5 is gonna have a story on rails. And also there's another reason why I think this, because this makes actual financial sense. Because if you split Fallout, you can easily split Fallout into two separate things. You can't really do this with, well, you kind of can do it with Skyrim, but Fallout it's easier because there's a lot of lore that allows you to do this, and there's a lot of setup that technically allows you to do this. And that is, you can have one Fallout mainline entry that concentrates on the moving forward aspect of the universe. Like the Fallout 5 that Bethesda is gonna be doing is gonna be the moving forward shit. It's gonna progress the whole world. And then you can have a second Fallout mainline entry that is effectively just like Fallout year 2005 penises. That's what you can do. And it's going to be a self-contained story about what's happening in a certain location. And you have two opportunities to build a plot. You have the opportunity to build a plot in the previous places in the past, aka the spin-off. Which, by the way, if you're thinking, wait, this sounds like what's happening currently with Obsidian. Yes. This is why I think it actually could maybe is not Fallout New Vegas 2. Because the lore for that is dead. And, things like that, an Obsidian Fallout could be just used to create lore in the past. So if you go to a new location, it's not just a bunch of random people you don't know about. You already know about them from other games. So this technically would be a really good way to create a franchise. Technically. But do I trust Obsidian and Bethesda? Fuck no, they're idiots! They couldn't write a good story if their life depended on it. Emil's still not fired. Todd's still maybe here. Now, granted, the fact that the last couple of interviews with Todd Howard have been through a Luigi board, I don't know. Maybe he is dead, but who knows? But any case, this is what's gonna happen. The chances that that's going to be Fallout 5, just the overarching plot is going to be the Brotherhood versus the Enclave in some shape, form, or fashion and location, is pretty much guaranteed. Pretty much guaranteed. Clip it and ship it. If you don't believe me because you think this is speculation, that's fine by me, by the way. I mean, it probably, if you have not been paying attention to, nice. if you have not been paying attention to what's happening with all of the interviews, with all of the info, with everything else that's happening with Bethesda, I understand how how you could easily think that this is a long shot or just stupid, maybe even. But if you're following closely what's happening with Bethesda, what has happened with the franchise, the interviews, the things, again, Todd Howard literally said himself that he wants the Fallout world to move forward. And that's happening. That is happening. Anyway, thanks for watching. Like the video. It takes less than a second. It helps out a lot. You know, if you didn't like this video, like it anyway, because it's going to help more people who think I'm an idiot find this video, and that's going to be great. Thank you for watching. It really helps. Like the video right now. It takes less than a second. And have a nice day. Bye.